Thank you for getting us started. And so nice to see you all. Thank you for getting together today on this beautiful Sabbath Sunday. I've been feeling a lot of gratitude yesterday, now, and yesterday. Yesterday, we had a day long virtual retreat on the subject of gratitude, the attitude of gratitude, and grateful living. I'll talk a little bit about that later. But now let's have a moment of silence, including all in our hearts and minds and prayers, and embrace, open the wings of your heart, of your good heart, include all those who are suffering at the hands of extreme environmental things, disasters, and the ravages of war, like the one we usually hear about these days in the Ukraine. But check it out, there are dozens of other, what do they call them, hot wars. In other words, there's actual fighting and shooting and bombing going on in dozens of other countries right now. Not to mention prejudice and inequality, greed, hatred, delusion, selfishness, and corruption. Including all in our hearts' prayers and practice today for the benefit of all, one and all. Don't exclude yourself. Imaho. Way to go. Thank you. In the early morning sun, with a mala in my hand, I'm dating myself. Join in, you know the words. With a pocket full of Buddhas and a pocket full of hands, you can hear the mantras go. Ha ha he him ho. Let's make today the day that we all come to know ourselves and each other. Him ho, thank you. Singing is believing. Thank you for indulging me. My good mood this morning. Can't help it. It's a nice sunny day here. And I hope it's sunny where you are. When the heart mind is good, is balanced, is at peace, everything is good, in balance, serene. We're the fortunate ones, don't you think, friends? Have the opportunity and the freedom and the possibility and the intelligence and the time and the space and the inclination, the effort, the interest to be getting together in this way, in the spiritual way, enacting the grateful life, the mindful life, aspiring to the best life, the best world for ourselves, each other, and all, if possible, all that we are interconnected with, which means all. the Zen Catholic abbot, Brother David Steindl-Rast, author, psychoanalyst David Steindl-Rast of Austria and California, says gratitude is the heart of prayer. Check out his website, gratitude.com. There's tons of stuff there. Good stuff, great stuff. To cultivate gratitude and appreciation and erode the basis of covetousness and jealousy. And to see this is me now, not David Steindl-Rast. Don't blame him. To see the 3/4 of the glass that's full and not focus on the half that's empty. Not to be Pollyanna-ish, not to be glad-handing. Of course, to have a positive outlook, but not overdo it, not to live too much with rosy-colored glasses, but perhaps it's better than smoky-colored glasses of pessimism, cynicism, skepticism, despair, and even tending towards depression. Screw that. Of course, some of us have to go through that, and that's part of life. But hear me. We don't have to see different things. To see things differently makes all the difference. Reframe it. Even the wound can become a gift. Check it out. The obstacle is stepping stone. The great Renaissance master in the 1800s, the first Jamgon Khantrul Rinpoche. Jamgon, the gentle, loving, precious master, Jamgon Khantrul Rinpoche, famously said, illness is the broom that sweeps away obscurations and bad karma. Not that we wish that on anybody. It's not what happens to us, but what we make of it that makes all the difference, as I always say. That's the secret of self-mastery, self-actualization, of taking responsibility and agency, not being a victim. Gratitude, so much to be grateful for all those who have come before, whether it's our forebears who immigrated to this country, who struggled to come from far away to get here, who in many cases, like my grandparents, didn't know English, etc., or anyone here. Those names were changed when they landed at Ellis Island from Rotterdam after coming from Western Ukraine and Eastern Poland and Hungary. Or your forebears, even if they didn't come lately, even if they came off the Mayflower. Look into that story. It wasn't that comfy. It wasn't that easy. I'm sure plenty fell along the way or suffered. We have so much to be thankful for. And our Dharma teachers and forebears and lineage who did so much to get enlightened, to preserve, pass on these teachings, specifically in our Tibetan lineage, to escape from communist invasions and preserve it in refugee camps in the Himalayas and India in the most dire conditions, and pass it on to us generously, genuinely, unstintingly, and still are. So much to be grateful for. And here in our own land, being literate, I'm not sure if it's overeducated or somewhat educated. Anyway, we have universal literacy and education here, at least in this continent, this country, etc. Not everybody has in this world. Women are still in deep doo-doo in some countries, trying to get educated, not even just to be equal, just to get educated, like in Afghanistan and so forth. We have a lot to be grateful for. Think of all your benefactors, the people that introduced you to the world and showed you the world, our parents, for example, or whoever brought you up, or grandparents, mentors, aunts and uncles, cousins, siblings, best friends, neighbors, like the neighbor father in our suburbs in Long Island, who introduced me to the nature of my left-handed throwing arm when I was 5 years old and trying to throw the all-important baseball with my friends with my right hand. and throwing like a klutz, although I was good in other sports. As soon as I threw lefty, it was a whole different story, wasn't it? Still proud of that and enjoying that. Maybe that's where I learned practice makes perfect, or even more, Dzogchen practice is perfect. Just do it. So much to be grateful for our benefactors and supporters, even now, the many who have helped us to get to this hour together, whether it's from the Dzogchen Center side or the tech side, like Menla, Kathleen, Albanese, and Kelly Amadei working on the tech and the production here of this open meditation town hall, or our family, or our mate who's taking care of things at home while we're sky dancing here, settling and soaring at the same time. So much to be grateful for our health, or even just as we've lived so long. Every time I get together with my friends, which is, and relatives, pretty much every day, especially around these holidays, it feels like every day and every part of the day. I hear the organ recitals. Oy vey, don't ask. I got to go to 6 doctors this week and none know what they're talking about. They're so young, etc. But look, we've lived this long. This is way over the average lifespan of 100 or 200 years ago. Look around the room. I see a lot of gray hairs. Nobody's getting any younger here. That's a Buddhist teaching, if there ever was one. Keeping that in mind, prioritizing the now, being grateful for the present. Get ready for the cliche. What a gift. That's why it's called the present. But meaningful, like be here now. So deep, so simple. But who can really do it and not be ahead of ourselves, leaning forward into the future, or sitting in the car already thinking, illusorily in our mind, being where we're going, not being where we are, sitting in a red light. What could be a better stop and drop into pure presence, naked awareness than that? Nothing else to do. Till the light changes. You don't even have to look at the light. The person behind you will let you know with their meditation horn, waking you up. It's not just a meditation gong that could wake you up, or a bell, or an alarm clock. The horn. Like the Zen master who woke himself up hour by hour, moment by moment, by shouting his name. Ikkyu, hi, present. Jeff Miller, here, present. It's a true story of the Japanese Zen lineage, waking oneself up. Once the late great Dzogchen master was teaching us in the 3-year retreat about doing that, to wake ourselves up in the Dzogchen meditative practice of non-meditation called Tregchud. Seeing through, being through, natural awareness, openness, awareness, Tregchud. And we learn to try to surprise ourselves as we're sitting there by shouting, Pat! Suddenly, and stop and drop. Shatter the ice forming on the fast flowing waters of the stream of consciousness. And let the flow go. Pet is a cutting word in Zen tradition, cuts through everything. Good for Tregchud, cutting through, seeing through, being through. Practice. Sky gazing. Space mingling. Innate wakeful awareness practice. Somebody asked Dudjom Rinpoche, how can we do that here in our cloistered retreat? Won't we disturb the meditator, the yogi, the monk or nun in the next room? And he said, maybe they'll wake up if you don't. And he said, but try it. Couple, see. Maybe you can even surprise yourself if you're quick enough. Like to turn the attention back and see through the seer, perceive the perceiver, and be free. Maybe you wake yourself up. Try it. You can surprise yourself. Pet! Pay up! Pet! It's actually spelled P-H-A-T, like in the Fat Farm t-shirt. I love it. I'm grateful that we even can get together like this, zooming and soaring and settling. It used to be we could only have a conference phone call, and before that, not even that. I don't know what we would have. A chain letter? No, that's the wrong example. We had nothing when I was growing up. We didn't even have toys. We just kicked a clump of dirt and called it a ball. I love to say that to my grandnieces and nephews and grand godchildren, and sometimes they take it seriously. Really? What did you do? Like, what did you do before there were cell phones or texting? You say, we made an appointment and we showed up. That's what? We met our friends somewhere, even in the middle of New York City. It wasn't that hard. Anyway, here now, friends. Another nice cliche, and I'm grateful for it. It's so easy to remember. And whenever I hear it, it reminds me, be yourself. But don't we have to know who and what we truly are, not just be your neurotic, conditioned, or worse, addictive self? The great perfection should not be a spiritual bypass, rationalizing our unwholesome or harmful or worse, cruel, mean, selfish, self-destructive, or other destroying, harming habits. Anything goes is a little different than naturalness and awareness. Anyway, gratitude is so wonderful. Gratitude is the heart of prayer, as this said. Jumping from that simple exoteric level to the mystic, non-dual, mystic Christian philosophy, universal philosophy level, Meister Eckhart, the greatest mystic of Europe in the old days, hundreds of years ago, the Christian mystic Meister Eckhart. So interesting, so brilliant, excommunicated by the Catholic Church for his radical views of oneness and noneness, the via negativa, no separate God, no God outside ourselves, etc., which the Catholic Church and its many priests and functions and indulgence collectors sure didn't appreciate. So he was excommunicated and died traveling on foot along a snowy road in Germany in his mid to old age, not that old. He said, gratitude is the only prayer I need. Doesn't that give a different meaning? Another facet to the meaning of the word prayer. Don't misunderstand the word prayer too simplistically as just asking for something, asking God for what you want, what you think you need. Of course, that's fine, requesting prayer, exhortatory prayer, but there's other kinds of prayer. Hymns, prayers of praise, of thanksgiving, thanksgiving prayers, healing prayers, well-wishing prayers. May all beings be happy. Is that not a prayer? Even though Buddhists may not use the word too much. In Tibetan, the word for prayer is munlam, aspiration path. It's like enacting it, getting it going, do it, move, cause and effect, course correction. Pacifism, yes, nonviolence, but not passivity. Pacifism. Passivity is the near enemy, a look-alike, but poor cousin, fake substitute for pacifism, nonviolence, non-aggression. Don't be a passive doormat. They say gratitude, appreciation erodes. Covetousness and jealousy brings us happiness, fulfillment, and contentment. Helps us lift out of the muck of the conflicting emotions and thoughts and comparing yourself to others, thinking the grass is greener on the other side, or enlightenment is greener on the other side of the world, or in the other row of meditators, not here in my seat. You're meditating along, and you start off following your practice, let's say the instructions, whatever you learn, your practice, and you get a little distracted, whatever, shit happens, a little distracted by the inner habits, or somebody coughs or sneezes or God forbid moves. Oh no, that person in front of me is moving. I got to get another seat. Sure. Keep moving restlessly. That's the way to do better. No, not. Comparing. They're sitting there looking like living Buddhas on the right and the left, ramrod straight, yet relaxed, their eyes open, look present. And I'm sitting here feeling like a bump on a log, or worse, a parasite-ridden log, feeling like crap. That's just a comparing mind. You have no idea what the others are going through or feeling or doing. It's just your own projection and interpretation, and probably misinterpretation. Practice has to be intimate, personal. It might be transpersonal, but it's not impersonal. It has to fit you like your shoes, like your work and play habits, like your sleep habits, like your eating habits. It has to suit you. Different courses for different horses, as they say. So I'm grateful for this path and this spiritual highway. There's so many lanes, so many ways, so many possibilities. And those who have given it to us, passed it down to us, preserved and promulgated it, refined it, keeping it alive. And we too are trying to keep it alive. That's the mission here. That's the mission of the Bodhisattvas. Until all beings are enlightened, are free from suffering, or whatever you call it. The goal of all schools of Buddhism. And probably all mystic and spiritual traditions. I don't know. Not a theologian. The Bodhisattva, the compassionator, the altruist, the spiritual hero, the Bodhi awakening, Sattva being, the Buddha to be, the awakener, awakening. It's hard to translate that word. We should probably just use it in English, Bodhisattva. Grateful for my teachers, for the Buddha, grateful for the Dharma teachings and practices, grateful for my spiritual friends, Kalyana Mitra, the elders, the mentors, the spiritual friends, the lovers, the wives, the friends, the supporters, the people on the path together, my co-retreatants in our 3-year retreats, the people that I lived and survived together with and helped each other in the third world, in India, Nepal, Bhutan, Ladakh, in the old days, the 1970s, 80s, 90s, before the internet and everything, when we were alone, when we didn't have a lot of translations and YouTubes to watch, podcasts to listen to. I remember once an audio cassette, anybody remember those? An audio cassette showed up in Darjeeling at our refugee camp, Kala Rinpoche's monastery, above the toy train tracks, meaning the narrow gauge railway the British built up into the mountains there, the toy train tracks. A cassette turned up where we didn't have, books in English or Western languages, where we had transliteration to learn to chant from, phonetics badly transliterated by us newbies, or the ones that came a few years before. And it was an audio cassette with the pioneering Buddhist teacher Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche on it, founder of the Shambhala training, the Shambhala, the Vajradhatu centers, author of dozens of books. Check it out. Great Tibetan Lama who went to Oxford, who was a refugee, who ended up in America and in Halifax, Canada, dying at the age of 49, unfortunately. He was an icebreaker and he was battered and broken. Cassette of him talking in English, the Queen's English that he had learned in England and in Oxford when he was in his low 20s and had the opportunity to be brought there. And us Westerners would gather around the little tape deck trying to hear it with the scratchiness and the electric going out and hard to find batteries there in the third world that would last. It was so exciting. Wow. Without listening to Kala Rinpoche and the other great lamas talking Tibetan, people trying to translate them. It was so exciting. And these days we have so much. It's like a beggar's banquet. Such abundance of opportunities. People used to say, "Where are the enlightened teachers?" I don't know if enlightened teachers said this, but my friends and I would say, "Where are the students who are avidly interested and stick around and follow through?" Not just window shoppers, although that's a fine first stage. Where are the retreats? Where are the trainings? Not just bookstore Buddhism, but practice, experiential, and realization-based path of enlightenment. So today we have a lot of these opportunities, whether you look at it as in the media or to read in good, excellent translations, or have podcasts coming right into your Dick Tracy watch. I mean, your Apple Watch, or your more and more seeming to be gigantic iPhone compared to the iWatch, or your even more gigantic iPad. Oh my God. Or even like I'm using right now, my laptop. Holy crap. Remember what computers used to be like, taking up a whole room? Not that long ago, at least in our lifetime. So much to be grateful for. Not to mention we have our health, our faculties, our energy, we have interests. We have Sangha helping us, kindred spirits supporting us, Dharma and Dharma practices and trainings available, and Buddha, of course, everywhere, and millions of Buddhas. And in the Buddha category comes the teachers and mentors and instructors and so on that we're grateful for. I still remember my baseball coach, Mr. James Iddick Jr. He was my coach for 11 or 12 years in Little League till I was in the high school teams. Never forget him, how much I learned from him. What a great guy he was. With his Cadillac, with the roll seats in the 1960s, even in the late 50s. I started with him, I must have been 6 years old, with the Warriors, the Cheyenne Warriors, as we were called then, our local team. With 9 or 10 boys, plus him driving in his Cadillac to the baseball games with the giant trunk filled with gloves and bats and bases. I don't know if I ever said thank you to him. It was more like, "Can we go to the ice cream place now, Mr. Riddick? We won the game." Not thank you. And we would meet our parents there and have ice cream, and it would be Saturday, nice afternoon, the sun in spring or summer. And the parents would be saying thank you to him, probably not me and my buddies. Anyway, gratitude is a great attitude to cultivate. Let's put some intention and attention to that. Maybe it's hard to find in the traditional Buddhist teachings. I don't know. Gratitude and forgiveness are not necessarily words that are associated with Buddhism, although of course it's there in the Compassion Sutras and loving kindness teachings and patience, paramitas, and all that. Generosity, giving of yourself, etc. But it's more associated with Christianity and Judaism, let's say, which we all come from a Judeo-Christian background, probably. But let's make it part of our own awakening practice on the path of enlightenment. And be grateful. I find it's humbling, not humiliating, humbling, and I sure need that. Like asking for help and being grateful for receiving whatever you receive, as much as it is. Just this much, as Ajahn Chah, the great Arhat monk master of Thailand, Jack Kornfield's Lama teacher, Ajahn Chah used to say, just this much, this is your lot. Your interpretation might be not enough or too much, but just this much, and this, and this, and this moment, this is it. Enough pushing and pulling. I don't want, I want, it'll make me happy. I want not. It'll make me happy if it goes away. three basic poisons: attraction, desire, attraction, aversion, anger, based on the dualism, the ignorance that separates us, that makes two, where there's no separation. So now let's have a little practice, meditation. We'll practice a little gratitude, attitude of gratitude, elevate your gaze. I like to just put up my hands and reach up, because as we know, the higher powers, whatever we conceive of them to be, are up there, I guess. Or reach in deeper, however you look at it, or any other way. Make some motion, elevate your gaze, expand your mind, open your heart, whatever you call it. And include all in our prayers and practices and intentions today, our efforts towards pure, unadulterated attention. The definition of prayer by Simone Weil, the French philosopher, is open your hands and eyes and heart and mind to the invisible array that's always with us, however we think of it. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, or the gods and goddesses, angels and archangels, the allies, the local nature sprites, are all beings in the endless cycle and water wheel of existence, who are connected to us, who have been our parents and siblings and lovers and children and pets and friends throughout infinite lifetimes, or just this lifetime. I can't remember everything from the last few decades, can you? Or many decades, whatever it is. Who knows? But grateful for it all. Sometimes I put up my hands and I just sort of embrace the refuge tree with all 6 branches of the triple gem and the 3 roots anyway. And I feel like at the same time embracing it or opening to it or invoking and inviting it and being part of it, holding it up, like being part of it, the trunk or something. It works for me. Try it. Or in short, even in bed, if my mind's starting to grizzle and spark, and I don't mean sparkle like short circuit. Sometimes I just look upward, I put my hands up and say, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord Buddha, whatever you like, whatever the placeholder is there for your higher power, ultimate refuge, the whole, the one, thank you. And it just lifts me instantly out of all of that caca and schmutz, the mud of samsara, and the lotus face, lotus blossoming in the sunlight of freedom from all that. Try it. It might work for you. Simple practice of gratitude. Thank you. It lifts me out of trying to figure it out and solve problems that I might have or of the world. Just check it out. So that's a few thoughts. We went much more into it yesterday in our day long. Some people asked some extraordinarily good questions, like what's the near enemy of the lookalike, deceiver? Like brass is the near enemy of gold or something. Or fool's gold is the near enemy of gold. I don't know. Complacence and indifference is the near enemy of equanimity and detachment. This is a Buddhist term, near enemy. It's a really good one. So what is the near enemy of gratitude? Somebody asked. And we discussed that. Anyway, maybe turn around 3 times like my root dog, my favorite. We used to do that. Too much action here. For this tenuous non-studio setup I have here in my studio, in my office, my desk. Take a breath. Start again. Like my dog turning around 3 times before she sit down anywhere. There's probably wisdom in that. She's probably, over evolution found out it's better to check for snakes, pointy sticks, and rocks, and red anthills before you plop down with your big white furry lovey lazy body like a gigantic welcome mat sitting across my feet under the desk as I write day to day. So starting again, plopping and flopping, and drop it all. Drop the week that's gone, the day yesterday that's gone, and our own narrative of the past and all our baggage train. So much extra baggage, so many cars. What do you call them? Train cars, those, the freight trains, freight cars. So much baggage we're dragging along. Holy crap. No wonder why we don't want to go uphill. And yet the high ground beckons, metaphorically at least. Elevate your gaze. Open your heart and mind. Refine your aspirations to include all, not just black and white, not just good and bad, but best practices, improving, be a lifelong learner, improving, progressing gradually, and then even making the leaps exponentially through powerful, special, extraordinary efforts and practices. So we just keep going, as the Zen master said in his broken English. Sung San always said, just go straight ahead, 10,000 years. Sometimes he would say, no mind, no thought, just go straight, 10,000 years. That's like the Bodhisattva vow. Doing what needs to be done, and not just selfishly, but selflessly, including all. So sitting, arriving, picking up where Kelly left off before I interrupted. Natural body, natural breath, natural energy, natural heart, mind, the 3 naturals, just sitting, just breathing, just being present and aware. Natural body, natural breath and energy. 3rd, natural heart, mind, or consciousness. Not visualizing for now, not chanting for now, not praying for now, not analyzing, not scrutinizing the nature of self and other, or who am I. Just being. If that's too subtle, too hard to grasp, too steep a cliff to encounter, use the stairs. Just sitting, just breathing, just aware, letting go, letting come and go, letting be. Use the stairs or use the elevator. Pop the question, shout pet, see through, let go. I don't know what there is after the elevator. Just leap to the top of the flagpole, as the Zen master says, or start from the top and go straight up. That would be even more surprising. The tantric miracle, the Dzogchen rocket ship, I don't know. Spaceship, perhaps. Don't be a space cadet, be a Dzogchenaut. Space cadet is a near enemy of Dzogchenaut, swooping down from above with the view while having feet on the ground, climbing up from below through relative practices. Swooping while climbing, not falling into one extreme or another, balancing the relative and the absolute, etc. So open, receptive, aware, eyes open. Try with eyes open if you're a habitual meditator used to closing your eyes. Eyes open, even stop meditating, just gazing. Nowness awareness is the Buddha within. I'm not trying to go deeper into samadhi or the jhanas or concentration. Non-meditation, unmeditation. Buddhahood without meditation, as Dudjom Rinpoche's famous text is called. Just being. That's it. Being yourself, but your true self with a capital S, your Buddha-ness, your Buddha nature, your divine nature, whatever you call it, the goddess that you are underneath the Halloween costume you donned of the wiggy teenager or the eccentric old person. Still, the inner child, the immaculate Buddha within, untouched, uncorrupted by local weather and circumstances. Eyes open, ears open, natural. Naturalness is the way, as it says in Zen, as it says in Dzogchen. Breathing out, turning inside out, letting go, being like a bubble turned inside out in the sea of awareness, sea of being. Practically just breathing, just sitting, just being, attentive, present. Cultivate innate wakefulness, not temporary moods and states of mind that are so unreliable and fleeting. Awareness, aware of awareness, and non-dual, uncompartmentalized, present awareness, innate wakefulness, Rigpa, Buddha mind, Kuntazampo, assume your Buddha seat, Imho, way to go. Not no to anything, yes, yay, Imho, wonderment is the watchword of Dzogchen practice. Not comparing it to what you know or saw before. Holy crap. Dig the movie, the pageant, the dream, whatever you want to call it. It's the best show, the only show in town. Why not? Quote, dig it, grok it. You're part of it. Why be a wallflower, hanging back and just trying to witness life and not get too involved? Just let go. Zorba the Buddha. Imaho. Way to go. Thank you. And enjoy the joy of natural awareness, presencing, pure presence. Buddha on Buddha's seat, beyond gender, beyond species, beyond time and place, just being with a capital B plus, awareness with a capital A plus. See how it is. See through yourself and be free. Emo. Thank you. I love you. Let's go together. Sky gazing, eye gazing, space mingling, infinite dissolving, like a salt doll in the sea, like a bubble seeing through itself, transparent, in the sea of being, no need even to pop it. It's sea, water, it's sea all the way through, not separate from the sea itself. Or popping, breaking through your self-limiting concepts. Self-image and identity. Like a bubble bursting in the sea from which it's never been apart. And bubbles co-emerging instantly. S and N inseparable, samsara nirvana inseparable, as we say, Mahayana Buddhism. Not the far other shore, the ground, but the ground beneath our feet, not even so separate. Beyond inside and outside or separateness, no two, not two. Imahu, thank you. Let's go together. I love it. Oh. Smile a little, pretend you're happy if you're not feeling that way. Fake it till you make it, as someone says. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord Buddha, Lord Guru. Thank you, all the higher powers that be, all is beyond ourselves, but immanent in each of us, transcendent over all of us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lord, for this fresh, beautiful day, for this day, for this breath, for this place, for this gathering, for this impetus, for this bodhicitta. Like chlorophyll-based plants, reach for the sun. Bodhicitta is like the spiritual chlorophyll, reaching for the light of illumination, of realization, of enlightenment, illuminating the world, illuminating the way for all those wandering in the shadows, in the dark forest, like Dante famously called it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all those who have brought us into the world, showed us the world, protected us before we were even conscious about that, when we were babies, infants, kids, teenagers, even last year before we were conscious of this, even now, yesterday. Expanding our consciousness, our appreciation, our gratitude, savoring the moment. Time is life, don't squander it. Thank you. Precious human life, one of the most basic teachings, explanations of Tibetan Buddhism. Check it out. Precious human life that we have given. We hardly made it ourselves, endowed with so many opportunities and inner and outer assets. And the good fortune to meet the Dharma that can alleviate our pain and suffering, heal our spiritual illnesses, heal our social illnesses, to bring us together too. Thank you. Thank you to the Sangha. No one can do it alone these days. All interconnected, interwoven into being. As Thich Nhat Hanh says, thank you. Thank you for the way, the truth, and the light, the life, this precious life, so fleeting, so tenuous, so much what you make of it. Thank you. Thank you, friends and lovers. Thank you. Thank you, critics and enemies. Thank you. Thank you, illness and challenging circumstances. Thank you. Without any inner irritation in the oyster, the pearl cannot be produced. Thank you. With the Buddha here and a Bodhisattva there. Thank you. Old McDharma had a farm. Imaho. Thank you. And on this farm he had some dharm. Imaho. Oh, you can take it from there. You know the words. We'll go out singing and praying for all beings. Please join me in the Millennium Prayer. Kelly, can you magically make it appear on the screen?
One moment, dear Lama.
Kelly Amadei, ladies and gentlemen. Her and her son Henry live in Garrison, New York. Oh, by the way, we're having our first in-person residential retreat in 2 or 3 years, starting March 5th for 5 or 6 days. Look it up on the website. You'll know better than I do. Who can remember? At Garrison Institute on the banks of the mighty Hudson, above Westchester, below Poughkeepsie, on the eastern banks of the Hudson River, across from Bear Mountain Park and West Point. Please join us. It should be good. It'd be nice to see you all in person again. Although this is pretty good, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity, especially during the pandemic slump. This has been a great way of getting together and being in touch and supporting and loving each other. May all beings everywhere with whom we are inseparably interconnected and who want and need the same as we do, may they all be awakened, liberated, healed, fulfilled, and free. May there be peace and harmony in this agitated world, and an end to war and violence, poverty and hunger, inequality, oppression, greed and cruelty, pandemics and natural disasters. May we be better prepared for these natural calamities that can beset us all. And may we all together complete this gorgeous, meaningful, delightful spiritual journey. One beloved community, as Martin Luther King Jr. called it, one circle, one family, one sangha, one satsang, one, together, all the way home. The path is like the yellow brick road, Dorothy's. Dig it. We have everything that we need. Heart, courage, mind, intelligence, awareness. And the third one, I don't know. There were three, the scarecrow, the lion, and the third one. Oh yeah, the Tin Man. Oh yeah, we need to be loose and stay well oiled or something, or juicy. soften up a little our hardened carapace, our hardened shell. Thank you all. Have a beautiful day. Every day's a good day when your heart and mind, body and soul, family and community are in accord, are in alignment, regardless of the outer weather. Thank you. Love to one and all. Stay well.